Welcome to the Zenith and Balance podcast. I'm your host, Tammy Vu, and today we are honored to have Roman De Santos as our guest speaker. Hey, Mr. Roman De Santos.
Hi, it's a pleasure for you to have me here. Thank you.
Roman De Santos is an experienced educator and cultural relations dedicated to supporting immigrant students and their families. I'll be asking Mr. De Santos 5 questions on how to bridge two cultures together to assist immigrant students. So let's dive in. So the first questions, Mr. De Santos, I would like to ask you is, how can teachers get to know the different cultures of their students?
Yes, thank you for asking. We have to tackle this every beginning of the school year. So we usually begin with something very small, like an icebreaker. Hi, my name is Mr. Santos. What's your name? And most of the time, the students either have very low English skills or they'll have enough to at least, mention their name. From there, we go. Do a quick check, and then I go forward, and then I start asking like, "Hey, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food?" And most of the time this works. I ask them, what's your favorite snack from your country? What would you want me to try from your country? And we share a little bit from there. So that helps open and engage. And then they'll see that the snacks they share from their country and the snacks they like in this country, they'll have a lot of similarities. So you'll see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you like that too, so do I." And that starts bringing the bonds in very quickly. So that's what I typically start with.
I definitely agree with your point. So, icebreaker definitely help to understand the students' backgrounds, really enriching the classroom experience, and which allow us to tailor our approach to meet their needs, right? So, the next question is, what can teachers do to make the classroom more welcome for all cultures?
Yeah, so we have to tackle this very early on. I typically start with just hello. Hello, good morning, how are you? And every day I'll say, good morning, hello, how are you? And then if I know how to greet the student in their language, like if they are Swahili, I'll say jambo. In Spanish, obviously, hola, buenos dias. In Pashto, Farsi, or anything like that, I'll say, they'll say salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Salam, the same greeting. Kenya Rwanda would say marhalo. I could get that wrong, but I greet them, and that'll be like for a whole week. So I make it an effort to show them that I want to learn their language, even little small little words like maybe hot or something for food or hungry. And once they see that I'm willing to make the mistakes and sound really silly in front of them, that lowers their obstacles and their apprehensions, and that makes it a little bit more welcoming environment. Like, oh, well, here's a teacher that likes to sound silly and it's okay to make mistakes. Then I'm also okay with making these mistakes in English. So that's how I start to welcome them in and say, hey, I don't want perfection. I just want the attempt. And that typically welcomes them in.
I definitely agree with you on that. Small languages like saying hello or hi in their language actually make the classroom more welcoming, which fostering the sense of belonging. And it's just amazing to see how simple changes can make a big impact in a classroom, especially to our to immigrant students. So the next questions I would like to ask is, how have your experience as a teacher helped immigrant students adjust to American culture?
Yes. So I taught at public schools before I joined my school and at INA. And what happened was I came in with like, oh, I have all the experience. I totally got this in the bag. I can speak Spanish. I have a very easy job. Little did I know that I will be quickly humbled day one, and everything that I thought that I knew, I had to throw it out of the window and start fresh. So instantly humbled and eager to start from scratch and then learn how to deal with our friends here. The experiences that I bring is I show them how a simple little misunderstanding could be your opportunity to grow. Oftentimes we can do something. It's like, hey, make sure you have your pencils out, and they might misunderstand it as get your backpack open or get your journals out. And I'll have to just wave a pencil and play that game. So what I see our hiccups, our mistakes, those are all the learning opportunities. And every single year I'm learning. There's never been a year where I'm like, oh, I got this. So um, I bring previous years hiccups, mistakes, and I show them like, well, this is what one student did to mess up. And then we learned it from this to fix it this way. So whenever I tell them like, well, my friends from Afghanistan, they messed up with this, we fix it with this, and then we could probably do this. So they will see like, oh, that was something I tripped up on. And you'll see that oftentimes where students from Afghanistan, Jordan, Syria, or even from Tanzania, wherever they're from, when I tell them the mistakes that were previously made and then the solutions, they're like, oh, I could totally get that. So that again brings them at ease and sees that makes them see that, hey, you know what? It's okay to mess up. And what I was thinking was the solution was not the solution, but then this is the solution. So it's when I bring that experience to them, they're like, okay, wow, this is way better. So it helps completely eliminate the barrier of anxiety and essentially just bring down the frustration a little bit more when we're learning a little bit about English.
I definitely get that because mistakes helps um, educators to like to share their experience and also to, I would say, more empathize with their students, right? So that actually a connection to make a significant differences in adjusting to adjusting to the American way of life or to the culture. So the next questions is how can teachers engage immigrant families in the school community?
Great question. We have a community coordinator. Her name is Miss Alatrash. She is amazing. She's the go-to. She's our heavy hitter. Without her, we would probably be struggling a lot more than needs to be happening. Miss Alatrash does an amazing job. She has her foot and pulse in every single aspect of every culture and every community that we got. She is our main line of engagement. What we often say, like, hey, we need to make sure that we spread this message. She's the first one to tackle it. She has programs and techniques to get engagement in. Oftentimes, we're trying to get something simple as, hey, can we have moms show up for moms and donuts or coffee with the principal? And Ms. Alatrash is the first person to send it out with a translated a flyer, maybe even a text. Oftentimes, she goes into the community to the departments in the community, the enclaves personally, and engages them. I try to offer a different spin with our Hispanic community. I say, hey, you're probably not going to engage a lot of people in the middle of the day. You probably need to go like around 6 o'clock when everybody's coming home. So with Miss Alatraj, we coordinate, and if that's the way we engage the community, make things that are obtainable. Obviously, we're not asking for, hey, we need to make sure that you guys go directly and go directly to the library and then go buy this, because sometimes that's not a thing. So we have to make things very realistic. Like, hey, can you come here? Whatever we offer, it's very realistic and centered to the community. And without Miss Alatrash, we would have a much harder battle. But definitely, a community manager helps out.
Definitely for that. So to me, like I highly believe in engaging family is actually the key to the child's success, right? So Miss Alatrash building those relationship can empower parents to help their to help them feel more motivated and to be more involved in their children's educations, right? Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yep. So this leads me to the next questions, the last questions. What challenges do immigrant students often face, and how can you help them?
Uh, they face a lot of challenges, and oftentimes we're chasing solutions to try to meet them halfway. Big one is obviously culture shock. A lot of cultures have certain sets of understanding towards gender. Uh, for instance, a lot of our Muslim communities, the male family member has overpowering, or not overpowering, but has the major power over the situation. There was a scenario where a sixth grade student of mine, he was essentially bossing and telling his older sister what to do, and his sister was in ninth grade. And I would come up to him like, "Hey, what's going on?" I at first thought that there was a problem, like a misunderstanding, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Is this girl bothering you?" And he's like, "No, that's my sister." And he went on a tangent that the sister wasn't listening to him. And I'm like, "Well, your sister is almost 15. I think she can take care of herself." And he's like, "No, I'm the one in charge whenever, my dad or my brother's not here." And I was like, "Okay." Uh, I let him speak his mind, and then I explained to him like, well, here in the United States, there's more equality than Afghanistan, and everybody is left to their own decisions, and they can really advocate themselves. So they don't really need a family member, but we understand that this is your culture. And slowly, I gave him a little bit more of reassurance, like, hey, it's okay, you're doing your job as a brother. But that was one of the challenges that I had to help with, and I also had to try to help mediate often with them. Other things um, that I didn't even see as an issue was like bathroom routines. Oftentimes, our refugee students are coming from a refugee camp where they had a makeshift, if any, school, and it was very common for them to just get up and go to the restroom. They don't need to ask anybody any permission. It's kind of like a triage situation where it's like it's when the needs arises, you got to go do it. And so we have to battle that a little bit and say, hey guys, you can't just get up and go. You can't just grab the pass. You have to ask teacher permission and take
Right.
those steps. And so we have to essentially model what the American culture is. I often tell them like, hey, this isn't really just a school. It's more like a training camp, right? It shows you how to be a student, how to be in the American school system. And they sit there, they wonder like, wow, okay. And they don't have the easy grasp of schedules, first period, second period, the whole routine of coming in and out of class, sitting down, maintaining a seat. Oftentimes, if they even had a school, they didn't have seats. They were just on the ground, standing up, or doing whatever. Or if they were at school, they were holding their little baby sister, brother that was a couple months old, and they were sitting to a person, to a teacher, give them a lesson. So we really have to teach them how to school. That's one of the big issues that we see a lot. Um, it's all a matter of consistency and routine. We show them like, hey, this is what we do. We come in, backpacks, pencils, sit down, backpacks, pencils, sit down. So we begin that at the very start of the year, and typically by October, November time, they should have a good routine and they understand like, okay, it's expected that I need to drop my backpack, get out my journal and my pencil. So with these routines, it helps them uh, have a little bit of a foundation for them to start to develop the philosophy of what an American school is. But that's what we start with often. Obviously, there's other smaller nuances. We don't. I always laugh at this. Uh, they don't. They don't see. They can. Their public. The public perception of privacy and the privacy bubble doesn't really exist for them. Whenever we hand out brand new technology to them, like a laptop, the first time, oftentimes it's the first time they see a technology or get a laptop, and you'll see them get on and start going to YouTube and listen to music. And another funny story is I've seen a student walk around like the 1980s boombox on their shoulder with a laptop and listening to their music, loudly. And I tell them like, hey, first off, the laptop might fall off your shoulder, so that's going to break. That's not a good thing. Number two, people may not enjoy your music, so it's a common courtesy to bring it down to a much more acceptable level. And that's an interesting situation. It happens every year. It's very interesting to see. So it's small little things that we here in the United States don't. It's almost like natural, intuitive to us, but to them it's completely. off the wall. And let's not even talk about the whole school system. Some countries, they're like, they go to school from 9 in the morning till 12 in the afternoon, and that's a whole school day. And then when you tell them like, well, you're coming here from 7:50 and all the way to 3:45, often 4 o'clock, they think we're insane. Um, the other aspects are teachers are highly trained for one specific thing. So whenever you ask your math teacher about science, they don't understand why does the math teacher have a full concept of science curriculum. So these small things is what we do uh, to really help them build up the American school system. It's a learning experience, and every year it's different. So one time we'll talk about math, and then we'll talk about language arts, and then we'll talk about social studies, and why do I need to know about Texas history? Why is it important to know about this? I don't really care about this, and I have to tell them like, well, here in the United States, you're going to be seeing all these cultures, and it will help you navigate life just knowing a little bit about your culture, my culture, their culture, and our culture.
Right.
So these are the challenges that we face every day, and this is what we try to tackle. Yeah.
Well, thank you for highlighting those challenges. I can see that you're very passionate about this, especially helping immigrant kids to assimilate to the American culture. So, before ending this podcast, do you have do you have is there anything else you would like to say to our audience?
Um, yes, the immigrant community and the refugee kids, they are quite literally starving for information. They thirst for knowledge, and
Right.
everything and anything is amazing to them. They always have this concept of the American life as being, like glitter and gold and everything. And once they get here, they realize like, hey, this is not what it's been painted up to be. Or sometimes they have negative concepts of this and that. Um, so what I ask everybody is give them a little bit of grace. They're learning, and they're finding out that sometimes not everything that glitters is gold, or maybe the bad things aren't really that bad. So whenever you see our refugee students or our immigrant students, that give them a little bit of grace. They've seen some stuff that'll make you pause. These kids are very adaptable, and they want to be here. And sometimes they don't understand um, what it really means to be here, and it takes them a little bit to see like, oh, I understand. I have it a little bit better here. But just give them a little bit more grace. And I want to speak just a little bit more about our refugee students. Oftentimes people are like, why are they here if they don't want to be here? The case is sometimes they don't have a choice. From what I understand is that they are part of a program, and they get validated, and they vouch, and they get verified extensively. They have a very deep background search done on the family for years, and they'll be in, like, if they're from Afghanistan, they'll be in Jordan for like maybe 10 years. Oftentimes my students have been born in refugee camps, have never actually lived a day of their life in their Afghanistan, and they come over here because it was just a random shot. Oftentimes they go to Canada, France, Germany, the UK, you name it. So the refugee students that come here they didn't really have a choice. It was just kind of like, oh, you're allotted, you're part of the 100,000. I'm just making up a number at this point. 100,000 allotment for refugee families, and you got selected, so you randomly got sent. So give them a little bit of grace. Oftentimes they don't want to be here. They don't even know that we're supposed to be here, and they're like, okay. So that's what we're dealing with. I didn't realize that until I came here, and I was like, wow, okay, I completely didn't have the correct picture. So again, one more time, give them a little bit more grace, and kindness really helps. They really can benefit a little bit more from guidance. But that's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. De Santos, for being here today and sharing your valuable insight with us. So, at Zenith and Balance Podcast, we explore a wide range of topics that promote personal growth, community awareness, and well being. We believe that achieving balance in various aspects of life is important for reaching one's fullest potential. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more on YouTube. Until next time, stay balanced and keep reaching for your zenith.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.